Yeah. I mean, we're all different, right? So, I mean, it's all part of uh, the the natural way of things, the natural process of things. So, um, it's always interesting in terms of fashion. The fashions that come and go, the different habits that societies have, and some
Yeah.
cultures, when you have a beard, it means you're smarter or more intelligent or have a position of authority. Um, More sexy. Yeah. The yeah, appearances matter. The amount of time that people spend on appearance is quite bizarre, really. Um, so it's interesting. If you think about all the things that people learn at school, but they don't really learn how to present themselves well. It's not really something that's taught there. They don't really learn how to make themselves look good and make themselves um, completely presentable. So uh, it's 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 an interesting element, and how people look matters. So we are we are attracted to beautiful things. It's part of the way that the world works. So in fact, that's one of my lessons for my kids. One of my lessons for my kids is a lesson about beauty, which is
Mhm.
that first thing that people say, or in general, if something is generally accepted in culture as normal, it's usually wrong.
Mm.
It's usually unnatural because culture is often an unnatural development. Sometimes it's natural, sometimes it's unnatural. And unnatural elements of cultural development. People say that beauty is always on the inside, right? Now, personally, I don't think that's true because I think that the inside and the outside are two sides of the same coin and they reflect each other to a certain extent. For example, for example, you can look at a person and you can see if they work hard, if they train hard, if they look after the physical elements of their body, and those things are difficult. Going to the gym 3 times a week is difficult, in the modern world. It takes time. Staying fit and
Yeah.
healthy is difficult. So if somebody puts the time and effort into staying fit and healthy, it generally has some advantages. Not always, because you can go too far and do negative things, but
Yeah.
it generally has some advantages. So if you look at someone who's fit and healthy and you compare it to somebody who's obviously unhealthy, someone who doesn't go out, someone who doesn't exercise, someone who doesn't look after, those physical elements, it matters. It matters. And so how beautiful thing everybody wants beautiful things. They want beautiful cups and beautiful homes and nice looking cars and smart clothes. These are all elements of aesthetics and and it covers all areas of life. Business can be aesthetically beautiful if you want it to be. Like sport can be aesthetically beautiful if you want it to be. Um, so so it's a higher level of thinking. It's a higher level
Mm.
of understanding. Walk into a company's offices and you can instantly see if they care about their environment, if they care about their surroundings, if it's say professional, if it's tidy, if it's organized, if it's clean. Um, that doesn't always mean that they're the best business in the world, but it means they care, and that
Mm.
matters. You can walk into other offices. I've walked into offices and like there's bottles of whiskey on the floor and pictures of naked women on
Yeah.
on the walls. Seriously, seriously, and, um, I've been in offices um, that are like that, and it's you don't want to put your trust too much. You want to understand they're human beings,
Mm.
and maybe they're having fun, but you don't want to put too much trust in that area. So having things beautiful matters. Having things aesthetic matters. A nice email is a beautiful thing. A kind email is a beautiful thing. A thank you note is a beautiful thing. So, beauty matters. The
Mm.
packaging of a product
Yeah.
needs to be nice. A presentation. needs to be nice and aesthetic, not with everything everywhere and all either cluttered too much in a small space or scattered, just all over the place and having no continuity to it. And so these things really matter. Beauty matters, and we don't focus enough on it. Compare the buildings of the past to the buildings of the present, right? Think about the cathedrals that were built across Europe. Absolutely beautiful, wonderfully aesthetic, spiritual places. And compare them to a block of flats, right? It's a block of flats is just ugly Lego, basically. Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong, it's practical. It might be practical to have that, but it doesn't do much for our understanding of culture because it's not really very cultural. And in the postmodern world, communist architecture, concrete communist architecture, very bland, without color, without much inspiration, not really very inspirational. And so having beauty as an element in all things, and it's not just something that's physical either. The words that we use, our speech, our language can be beautiful. Our actions, our ideas can be beautiful. And there's a lot of there's almost no focus on that in terms of education and culture in the modern world, because we're sort of told that everything is okay, everything is good, everything is okay. But there's levels to everything, and some things are better than other things, and quality matters. And part of quality is just having something which is beautiful there. Food, the presentation of food, right? Not just the not just the taste, but how it looks on the plate, and it can be a work of art. Cooking can be an art, a real art, and things can be beautiful when they're produced and made in the right way. So I think that that's something that's forgotten about. I once it's a little story. I once met a businessman many years ago, and he said to me, when you travel anywhere in the world, he said, when you travel anywhere, always wear a suit. Always dress really smart and wear a suit when you travel anywhere, because this is what he said to me. He said, you instantly get respect. You instantly get respect from people if you dress to a higher level of understanding. So he says it's not logical, but people listen to you more when you dress in a more professional way. And we've all seen that in conferences and exhibitions and business contexts when we dress for power to make ourselves seem knowledgeable or more authoritative in those elements. So yeah, presentation matters, and it's interesting. I don't think you should focus more on presentation than content. I think content should be more key, but we want to attract people.